Hey everyone, I'm Bailey Parnell and I'm going to be taking over the Ryerson Marketing Association's Instagram stories for the day to show you a day in my marketing focused life. This is their first RMA takeover. I say my marketing focused life because, like many of us, I currently have a few things on the go. The first is that I own a company called SkillsCamp, which is soft skills training. So we work with businesses and higher ed institutions to build competencies in personal branding, productivity, emotional intelligence, in the form of workshops, course development, webinars, you name it. The second thing I do is actually where I've built up most of my career so far, and it set the stage for SkillsCamp to exist in the first place. I work in digital marketing in Ryerson Student Affairs, and it started when I was a student. Given that the nature of this takeover is marketing focused, I'm going to focus on my Ryerson work today. You're going to learn about my career history, how I got started, meet some of my teams, see what I'd be responsible for there, and see how marketing's worked itself into other aspects of my life. So a student just asked me about time management with all of the things I'm doing, and yes, I take time management more seriously than most things in my life. Considering I work in education, I'll show you what I do, and then I'll teach you a concept. Excuse my man-child writing, because I'm more of a typer. Working in digital marketing, I have an excuse. But here is the focus pyramid that I learned from Hamza Khan. So, at the bottom of your pyramid is time. You can focus on anything, but before you do, you have to first allot the time to do so. Then you need to make sure that your energy is intact. So, are you sleeping? Are you eating well? And then finally, attention. Do you have distractions? Is there something on your mind? Then you focus. Just like a budget is a reflection of your priorities, how you budget your time is also a reflection of your priorities. And that includes things like schoolwork or relationships. So you have your total amount of time, and the things you allot in there all matter. So like you saw this morning, I do focus on a lot of things, but I first start with time, always. So let me show you some of my systems. A couple of really important apps I use every day to increase and speed up collaboration are Slack, which is like MSN for business, and Asana, which is a task manager galore. Now let me tell you what I actually do at Ryerson. Like I said earlier, I work in student affairs. Student affairs is pretty much everything outside the classroom that supports student success. So at Ryerson, that is the Career Center, Health and Wellness, Student Learning Support, Student Life, and Housing. I work in a department that used to be called the Creative Unit, which serviced those 5 departments. We ran sort of like an in-house full-service marketing agency, which was actually relatively new in Canada and relatively new in the States, so we ended up taking it all over North America. That department was just starting just as I was graduating my undergrad, so it really was a opportunity meets preparation type of moment. And I'll tell you a little bit later how I knew it was the right decision for me, but now we are called the Department of Special Projects. Since our inception and tracking and proving our value and successes, our department's grown infinitely. So now we're up to 10 full-time staff and about 17 student staff that are responsible for research, assessment, storytelling, and design in student affairs. I did my undergrad in RTA media production at Ryerson, and I was on track to doing broadcast journalism, particularly in the foreign news areas. So my first jobs were actually on air at Rogers TV, Chorus Entertainment, YTV, City TV, and other places in production. Alongside all that work, and because the traditional media industry doesn't like to pay, I was also doing that community manager role I told you about at Ryerson, and building out my digital marketing portfolio, which was really opening a lot of doors, and I was finding a lot of success there. So between 3rd and 4th year, I had what felt like a huge decision to make, which was, do I go with this original plan of foreign news journalism, or do I go with what I like and what's been opening doors? And someone said to me, do what you like for as long as you like it, and I was like, whoa. And then I turned on the personal branding. When choosing a career, you also have to consider lifestyle design, and with digital marketing, I liked that I could work from anywhere at any time. And with traditional media, literally everything else determines your schedule if someone falls at the wrong corner at the wrong time. Throughout my second, third, and particularly my fourth year, I had been running a lot of really successful campaigns and winning a lot of awards and speaking at a lot of conferences. I actually didn't tell people my age that often because I was afraid they would think I didn't know what I was talking about. Clearly I did. Then I took a role working in Bell Media's music and entertainment departments, which was Much Music, MTV, E, and M3, because I thought that would be the good bridge between my TV life and my digital marketing life. But I was always being called back to education. The cool thing about marketing is that it's one of those professions you can really point at anything. If you're good at the skill, you can market teacups, or you could market nonprofits, or you can work with corporations. And I liked TV, but my passion was education, and I wanted to point my talents towards my passion. By the time I graduated, that's how I knew that taking this role in marketing at Ryerson Student Affairs was right for me, because I had tested the other industries and this was where I was doing the most impactful work. Now I manage the social team that I once worked on, RU Student Life. About 2 years ago, I started a campaign called RU Days of Summer, which was a way to engage students during the summer months. Students would send their pictures in with the tag and we would repost it on RU Student Life. That campaign has significantly grown over the years. The cool thing was that with each new student team that came in, a new layer was added to the campaign. So the best photos from the social media campaign were featured in our print calendar. And then the photos from the print calendar were then later featured in a physical gallery in the SLC. The Canadian Council for Achievement in Education ended up awarding this campaign, and particularly our calendars, gold in their annual awards honoring education's best. We won in marketing and PR, and particularly promotional materials.
Hi everybody, my name is Juliana Garfalo and I am Bailey's digital marketing assistant here at RU Student Life. I started working here on my very first day of school at Ryerson, and this year I'm graduating, so it's been a long time. Right now, me and Bailey I started out here as a social media community manager running the RU Student Life social media accounts. I've gone on to work on the orientation team as the storytelling lead, helping with all the marketing and social media covering that week, and now I'm a digital. So I've worked on the Road to Ryerson campaign, the calendar Bailey mentioned to you earlier. I've covered TIFF, the MMVAs, We Day, all those cool things for social media at RU Student Life.
That meeting where you just met Juliana was one of my one-on-ones with students. So bi-weekly we have our full team meeting, and on the alternating weeks I have one-on-one meetings with my staff to see how they're doing, what they need help with, and new ideas. A big part of my role here is also in learning and development, so making sure that students and staff are building their competencies in tech, digital, social media, and storytelling. So I just had another meeting about how a particular class could use something like a Facebook group to foster community and close learning loops. So I do a lot of educating and skill building and marketing and storytelling and working with staff and students in departments like the Career Center and Health and Wellness and housing and student learning support. So you're probably starting to see the overlap with SkillsCamp and soft skills. Another campaign we did was about exam stress and checking in with your friends, and so we put these posters all over the school. So this is so cool. Flair magazine released their How I Made It list, which features just over 100 millennial women making an impact in the world. And I'm so honored to say that I've been featured in the entrepreneur category, and honored because this list is full of some amazing women, entrepreneurs, activists, artists, scientists, and it's just so cool. This is the kind of list that I would have looked up to and would have hoped to be on one day. And so thank you, Flair magazine, and I hope I live up to it. So that was a day in my marketing and entrepreneurial life. I hope you learned something. I hope you found it interesting. I hope you watch the rest of the RMA takeovers. Thanks.